filter place, and they specialize in all kinds of commercial filters, but I'm guessing they don't do anything like this. I think they do more air filter and then water filters, but they just gave me this. I told them I needed a 2-inch thick foam filter. They said, well, they had a filter media. It's 2-inch thick. Well, this isn't quite 2 inches thick. It's more like 1.5 inches, because you put it in here, and I think that's just too porous. So what I came up with, when I thought it was going to be, I really thought this was, I didn't want to use it because I thought it was too dense, but if I can suck air through it easily, and it's a nice thick piece of foam, and so that'll go in there really well. And so I'm going to take this and soak it in oil, squeeze it all through it, so it's soaked with oil to help it catch dirt. And we're going to use this, and we'll put that on there. I think that'll do a really good job. So, and then it's actually probably a little over 2 inches. It's going to collapse it just a little bit. That'll help it seal better. And I got this morning as well, so we'll go ahead and swap that in. So I'm going to do the air filter first, I think, then we'll put this in, and I'll put all this back together, and we'll see if we can get this thing to run. If it'll run, we'll see if it'll pump some air. Alright, I poured some oil into that filter, all over that foam, and just squeezed it and kept doing it until it was the whole thing had oil in it, but not, so you squeeze it out so that it's coated in oil. I guess that would be but thoroughly all the way through coated. And that's what we ended up with, and I'm very happy with that. I think that'll do really well. So we've got that. I'm going to leave this side cover off for right now, which means I need to do something with these screws. I'll put these back in. Oh, there's a dirt dauber nest. Let me get that dirt dauber nest out of there before we go further. Went ahead and put that side cover on. I need to see if I've got a thing for that. It's one of these. It's missing. So I think we are ready to fire it up. Said it's got a filter in it now. We've got the new start capacitor on it. So let's see if it'll run. We still got an air leak right here, but we can see if it's putting out air. So I will set y'all up. I'll set y'all up over here. No, sun's that way. Maybe right here. I think that's a good view. Let's see what it'll do. Well, that's not good. So, it's still humming. So we've dug into it, got to thinking about it, and this thing has a centrifugal switch that does the startup. And when it spins up, it centrifugal force makes those springs go out, and it kicks it out of start, out of the start windings. So I got to thinking, well, what if because it worked. What if it got stuck and couldn't go back to start windings? So I pulled the end cap off. Look what I found. So I'm wondering if that was keeping, this rides on that ring. What if that was keeping it from riding on there? So maybe that's the issue. I'm gonna clean this up real good, and I guess that bearing's good. I'm gonna clean this up and clean out all that under there, and then we'll put this back together and see what it does. I may clean this up a little bit too. Also, I found these contacts right there, pretty grimy. I cleaned them up. There's not much left of them. I think the switch is working. We'll test it. But we're probably going to end up having to put a pressure switch on it at some point. You know, this stuff, well, it could have already been grimy, you know, but I have a feeling just sitting outside, you know, it's not good to let stuff sit out, and you know, hopefully we can revive it. Mostly back together, or the end cap's back on. I got that cleaned out, so we're gonna, I feel pretty confident in it, but we're gonna go ahead and leave all that undone, and we're gonna just do a quick test, see if it starts up, and unplug it, and then if it works, then we'll we'll put it all back together. There we go. So that capacitor was fine, but you know, it sure did look, let's get it. We'll save it. I'm gonna leave the new one in it. It's 20 bucks. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty. The run capacitors look just fine. You know, they definitely stayed dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all this back together, and we're gonna see if it actually pumps air. All right. Let's plug this thing in again and see if it makes air. It blows a lot of air. Definitely pumping. I think we're going to make this easy. Instead of unplugging it and plugging it back in. You can hear the air bleeding off. Let me I think we need to do two things. We need to get something here to plug that off. And I've got a gauge. We're going to replace this gauge so that we can actually see the pressure. So let me do those two things and we'll see if it'll build up pressure and cut off. That's pretty good. I mean, it's taken a while to bleed down. I have this gauge, I don't think moves at all, but it had an open fitting there and it still built up pressure. So it's going to take a while. You know, this pulley is pretty encrusted with stuff, so it's going to take a while for it to run and get that stuff off of it. I don't think, I'm trying to make sure this shroud's not rubbing anywhere. It doesn't look like it is. It's a little flimsy. We might raise that up a little bit, mainly just on this side over here. I think this side of it's kind of bent. So let me yeah, it looks like we had a dirt dauber in there. And those things just went crazy on this thing. Get that out. I think that's all of them. And then if we can get this thing to build up pressure, we'll get a hose over here and blow this thing off with, we'll use it to clean itself. Well, it took forever, but I finally found, I could not get that fitting, that broken off fitting out. So I had to take the adapter off, which was no problem because I had another one. This is 3/8 to 1/4. 3/4, let's see, wait. Yeah. This is 3/4 to 3/8. And then, yeah, 3/4 to 3/8. And then 3/8 to 1/4, and then so I found this adapter, found a little short piece of 1/4-inch pipe, and put an air fitting on it. And then this is the larger, a larger air fitting here, which I'll probably leave because I might fix up another air hose. I don't know. We'll leave it like that for right now. What I'm eventually going to do is, and I'll probably have to do it once I get it in the shop to see how this is going to all line up. But I would like to have a shut-off valve here, a ball valve. So we'll have to figure that out. Oh, and my gauge I had only goes up to 160, so that's not going to work. I'm just saying, I don't know what it's set to cut off at, probably 175, just guessing. So we're going to plug it in. Now we got the holes plugged up. Let's see what it actually cuts off. Let's see if this gauge actually works. If we don't see it going up, I may go ahead and put this one on there, and at least we'll see once it gets to 160, and then a little bit after that it should cut off. So let's see. It's not like it's got a safety pop off right here, so it's not like we're gonna build up too much pressure. So let's cut the breaker back on. gauge is not a quarter. Got a leak right there. This pipe probably got bent over. At some point when this thing got moved around. Let me see if I can tighten this up, see if it'll stop leaking.